Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to this deep dive where we're digging into a stack of sources to really understand a specific topic for you.
That's right.
And today, our focus is aviation safety. But maybe not the part you immediately think of. We're actually looking at safety right there on the ground.
It's critical stuff. The sources really highlight how ground handling operations, while maybe underestimated, are just incredibly important.
Yeah, and when things go wrong, it's not just like a minor inconvenience. We're talking significant incidents, damage, injuries sometimes, and definitely delays, big delays.
Exactly. While, the flight itself gets all the attention, a surprising number of incidents actually happen before the plane even leaves the gate or after it lands.
So what kind of things are we talking about down there?
Well, the sources mention quite a few. Things like aircraft hitting ground equipment, or sometimes even other aircraft parked nearby.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, or the equipment itself malfunctioning. The tugs, the loaders. Human errors happen too, especially under pressure.
I can imagine.
And then there's incorrect loading or unloading, getting the weight and balance wrong. Improper refueling, towing incidents that can damage the aircraft. It's a whole list.
It sounds like a really complex and kind of potentially chaotic environment.
It can be, yeah.
Very busy.
And these aren't small mistakes. The consequences are, well, they can be massive, right? Huge repair bills for these multi-million-dollar planes, potential harm to staff, passengers.
Absolutely. And those delays we mentioned, they ripple out, affect flights everywhere. It's a big deal.
Okay. So our mission for this deep dive then is to get into the proactive measures and also something the sources really emphasize, the power of reporting. How do we actually prevent these ground accidents?
Well, it really takes a layered approach, starting with the people. The sources are clear. Good, solid, rigorous training for the ground crew is absolutely fundamental.
And that's not just like reading a manual.
Right. Oh, no, not at all. It has to be hands-on. Practicing how to navigate that really tight, busy tarmac environment safely with huge machines moving all around you. Okay, so knowing how to use the equipment safely in that specific space. Got it.
Precisely. And speaking of equipment, regular maintenance is just non-negotiable. Think about those pushback tugs, belt loaders. They take a beating.
Right.
So you need meticulous checks to stop a simple mechanical failure causing, a major incident.
Okay, training, maintenance. What else builds on that foundation?
Clear standard operating procedures. SOPs. Think of them as really detailed, step-by-step guides for literally every task.
Like connecting the jet bridge or refueling.
Exactly. Refueling safely, loading cargo correctly, everything. And they have to be followed every time.
Okay.
And alongside that, communication. Clear, precise communication is absolutely vital. Imagine the pilot not hearing the ground crew clearly, or a message getting misunderstood in bad weather.
Yeah, that could be dangerous.
Extremely. So that seamless interaction is key.
So getting the procedures down pat and making sure everyone's talking and listening effectively. What about the sort of overall safety strategy?
That's where something called an integrated safety management system, or SMS, comes in. The sources describe it as like the airline's master plan for safety. It's a whole framework for constantly looking at risks, checking how things are going, and always trying to improve safety performance. It helps spot hazards before they cause trouble.
Proactive, not just reactive.
Exactly. And of course, you've got regulatory compliance. Following the rules isn't just ticking a box, it's fundamental safety.
And even with all that in place, things can still happen, right? Mere misses or actual incidents. So being prepared for that is important too.
Oh, absolutely. Having a well-defined emergency response plan and practicing it regularly is vital. You need to manage any incident quickly, minimize harm.
Makes sense.
And finally, things like regular audits, inspections. They act like safety checkups, finding potential weak spots before they lead to something serious.
Okay, that covers a lot of the proactive side, the systems, the training, the procedures. But like you said, sometimes things still go wrong or almost go wrong. And that's where the sources really zoom in on this other concept. Non-punitive incident reporting. That sounds different.
It really is a cornerstone, yeah. A big shift in thinking. The basic idea is encouraging everyone, especially the folks right there on the ramp, to report safety issues.
Okay.
Incidents, sure, but also concerns, hazards they see, and especially near misses. And crucially, doing it without fear of being punished personally.
So it's not about who messed up.
Exactly. It completely shifts the focus to what went wrong with our system that allowed this to happen. You're looking for the underlying causes.
Right, the system failures, not just blaming an individual person.
Spot on. And the benefits are huge. When people aren't afraid, they're much more likely to share vital safety information, even if, they made a mistake themselves or saw someone else make one.
So the organization gets way more data. They can see patterns they'd otherwise miss.
Precisely. Which lets them fix the root causes, not just paper over the cracks. It directly improves safety. Plus, it builds a much healthier safety culture. Reporting becomes constructive, something that helps everyone, not an admission of guilt you try to hide.
Yeah, I can see how that would change things. Less finger pointing.
Definitely. It helps find those systemic issues, maybe a confusing procedure, or inadequate training, or faulty equipment, rather than just finding a scapegoat. It's so important that, as the sources point out, many regulators now actively encourage or even mandate these kinds of non-punitive systems.
Wow. Okay, so this non-punitive approach really feels like a linchpin for improving both the culture and the actual safety outcomes. So just to quickly recap what we've covered in this deep dive. Safety on the ground, on the tarmac, is every bit as critical as safety up in the air.
Absolutely. And we've outlined those key prevention strategies from the sources. Good training, keeping equipment maintained, having clear SOPs, effective communication.
Right. Plus, those integrated safety management systems, sticking to regulations, having emergency plans, and doing regular audits.
A whole suite of measures.
And then we really highlighted the vital role of that non-punitive incident reporting, how it's a cornerstone because it encourages people to speak up without fear.
Yeah, which drastically improves safety because you find the real root causes.
And it builds that positive safety culture, helps find system failures. It's all connected.
It really is. All about continuous learning and improvement.
So, considering how crucial this non-punitive reporting idea is for aviation ground safety, here's a final thought for you, the listener. What lessons could this approach offer somewhere else? Maybe in other high-stakes fields, or perhaps even in your own workplace. Think about that shift from blame to learning.